I want to tell you a very interesting story. Recently, we celebrated the holy auspicious Vyas Puja of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. And I want to mention something in this regard with respect to Maharaj. Maharaj used to preach at the Ohio State University in the state of Ohio, where he used to teach on campus at the university vegetarian cooking classes so that those who are not Krishna conscious, they may get attracted to Krishna through prasadam. So Maharaj used to teach them how to cook vegetarian, pure vegetarian cooking, and how to offer it to Krishna and things like that. So many boys and many girls started coming. They had no clue that Maharaj would plan to free them from material existence once and for all by offering them the beautiful nectarian path of Krishna Bhakti. But they would just come intrigued by this path of vegetarianism because they were so heavily into meat eating. They would think, how is it even possible to be just on vegetarian food? So let's just go and try it out. So they would come, and Maharaj would have a cloth on his shoulder, and he would be making rotis and puris and making prasadam, cooking prasadam for them, and teach them that this is how you stir, and this is how you mix, and this is how you make, and this is how you crush this, and this is how you powder this, and this is how you scrape this and cut this and cook this, etc. And they were all very interested. And when they would taste the prasadam, they had never tasted something like this before. Because you see, Indian food, especially Bengali Gaudiya Vaishnav cooking given by Srila Prabhupada, was very new, even to those coming from an Indian background. What to speak of those in America? They had never seen this side of the world. Like, we had never tasted something like this before. So they would find it very tasty, and they would ask Maharaj that, how do you make this? And he would teach them personally how to cook, how to. So they would come for these cooking vegetarian classes. There was one person who used to come, and he was a bodybuilder. He had like six-pack. He was very muscular, and he was heavily into meat eating. So he was like completely blown away with this idea that you could eat something like vegetarian. What is this? Because in America it's like vegetarian food and meat. In India you say non-veg, right? Non-vegetarian. But in America there's nothing called as non-veg. If you tell someone non-veg, they will be like, what? What is non-veg? It's like either vegetarian food or it's meat. So he was heavily into meat eating, and he had never seen the other side of the world of vegetarian food. So he came to Maharaj in one of these cooking classes. And Maharaj in the kitchen had a picture of the 6 Goswamis. And we know how the 6 Goswamis are transcendently very fit in those pictures. You've seen them. So he was seeing that Maharaj was actually following the 6 Goswamis. And Maharaj himself was so lean and thin. And the Goswamis on the pictures we have seen, Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they're all thin. And they're all transcendently well kept, let's put it like that. So he saw this and he was shocked. He said, this is where I'm going to go. If I follow this Swami, this is how I'm going to become, because he follows them and he is like them. So if I follow him, I will become like them too. So he got scared. He told Maharaj that, all these people on the picture that you worship, they're all so weak. And Maharaj was rolling rotis. And he turned and he said, what? He said, these people whom you worship, they're all so weak and thin. Maharaj raised an eyebrow and he said, weak? Who's weak? They're weak? Am I weak? Or are you weak? And here was Maharaj, like very skinny, as he's always been. Very well kept, spiritually, transcendental yogi. But this man who had come, he was like bulky, 6-pack with biceps and triceps and whatnot. He was very, very well cut. So Maharaj said, you find them weak? He said, yes, of course they're weak. Maharaj said, you find me weak? He said, of course you're weak. Maharaj said, you find yourself strong? Oh yes, I am strong. So Maharaj kept the rolling pin aside. It was just Maharaj and him. And Maharaj said, what if I challenge you in a physical contest? And this man was, taken aback. He had never heard a challenge from a Swami. He said, what? He said, what if I challenge you in a physical contest? So the man said, what do I get if I win? Maharaj said, I will never preach to you anything about God. And you don't have to eat vegetarian food. You can eat meat, no problem. I will never, ever, ever speak to you anything about God or vegetarian food. He said, that sounds like a good plan. And then he looked at Maharaj and he said, but what if I lose? Which I won't, because I'm so strong and you're so weak. What if I lose? Maharaj said, if you lose, you have to shave up and move into the temple as a brahmachari. If you're ready, I am ready. And he said, done deal. I accept. I accept this. So then Maharaj smiled. He didn't say anything. This was in the middle of winter. So Maharaj didn't say anything. He was quiet. The man forgot about it. He just thought it was just an occasional talk. But it wasn't so for Maharaj. Maharaj waited for the summer to come in. 6 months later, in the middle of summer, on a summer afternoon, one person known to Maharaj, he came and he told this devotee, this man, that the Swami is calling you. So the man came and Maharaj said, I will meet you on the top of the terrace. It's summer afternoon, so it's very hot. I'll meet you on top of on the structure. There's an open terrace. We can meet up there. So he went up and Maharaj came there. Maharaj locked the door and he said, do you remember 6 months ago we spoke of a physical contest? And he said, yes. Maharaj said, now is the time. Are you ready? He said, okay, I'm always ready. I hit the gym every day. Are you ready? Maharaj said, I think so. So what do we have to do? He asked. Maharaj said, you pick and I will challenge you on that. So the man said, okay, let's start with jumping jacks. Just jump around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just go one after another. Maharaj said, okay. So he didn't know that Maharaj was a yogi from the Himalayas who had spent a lot of time hitchhiking, meeting so many people, living through the caves and the mountains and eating and sustaining on one carrot a day, sitting on the rock of Mother Ganga, praying from sunrise to sunset. He had no clue. He was just thinking, this Swami, he's so thin. So they started jumping jacks one after another. And this went on and on and on top of that hot summer afternoon terrace where it's very hot. Maharaj did not want to do this in the middle of the winter because it's very comfortable to sweat out. He wanted to do it in the middle of a summer afternoon when it's uncomfortable. Because this man had practiced in the gym which is air conditioned, but not in the open under the sun, which Maharaj has. So they started off with the jumping jacks. And he went on, and Maharaj went on, and he went on, and Maharaj went on. And now they were in like 300s and 350s and 400. And he started getting tired. And he looked at Maharaj, and Maharaj was sweating in his golden body. And he was just on and on like a yogi. He didn't seem to get tired. And the man said, okay, let's just change. Let's go with, he was thinking maybe Maharaj is, good with jumping jacks. Let's just challenge him in something else. So he said, how about push-ups? Maharaj said, sure. Now they went head to head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Went on and on and on. And they were in the hundreds. And this man was really getting exasperated. He was tired. And he looks at Maharaj. And Maharaj is just going down parallel. Just going parallel one after another, head down. And he was getting tired and tired. And he saw the Swami smiling and he's just going, he was thinking, when does he have time to practice and, do all these things? And he was really shocked. And he said, okay, let's just change it. And he changed from 1 physical activity to another, to another, to another, to another. And he got so tired. And in every activity, Maharaj was better. His body was way more flexible, way more stronger, with more stamina. And it so happened the man got so tired, he went up to the door which was locked to go down from the top of the terrace. And he opened the door. Maharaj said, if you open the door and if you go down, you're the one who's weak. And he was so tired, he wanted water. So he just opened the door and he went down and he drank water and washed his face. And as he was washing his face, he realized actually he ended up losing it. And losing means now he has to shave up and become a brahmachari. So he came back after that and he told Maharaj that, does that mean I have lost? Maharaj said, yes, according to the laws, yes. But then Maharaj did not speak anything about shaving up and becoming a brahmachari. So the man felt, okay, we had a nice contest and he won it. Okay, that's fine. But then the connection with, you have to shave up and become a brahmachari, that's not valid. So the man forgot about it. After a month or so, Maharaj's assistant and first, close associate, he came to this person and he said, the Swami is calling you. And said, okay. He went. And as he opened the door and entered Maharaj's room, Maharaj was sitting on the chair with a shaver, a buzzer in his hand. And as soon as this man entered the room, Maharaj switched on the buzzer. The shaver was on. And he was thinking, wait a minute, what is this about? Maharaj said, on your knees, right now, here, on your knees. So he came and sat. He said, Swami, what is this about? And Maharaj said, you remember? It was about who's weak and who's strong and who wins and who loses and who shaves up and who joins the ashram. You remember? And he remembered, yes, this was the clause of the contest. And Maharaj kept the razor or the buzzer, the shaver on the head. And at that time he said, you don't have to shave up. It's an individual choice. Who am I to force you? It's your desire. And as he was saying, he just took one portion of the hair. He said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. You still can decide. If you want, you can keep the hair. And he was seeing that his hair was intact, but there was like a patch taken off from the middle. And he told Maharaj, better than this hairstyle, you just shave me up. And Maharaj shaved him up with a shikha. And he moved in as a brahmachari, taking diksha from Maharaj. And later, of course, he became a grihastha and he moved on with, grihastha responsibilities. And I heard this story straight from him. Straight from him. He told me this story about Maharaj. He told me that I was under the impression that if you don't eat meat, you will become weak. And if you eat meat, you're strong. But then he said, the Swami defeated me and made me not just a vegetarian. He made me a brahmachari in the ashram, having only Krishna Prasad. And I was helping him in that on-campus preaching and traveling. And I lived with him for 9 months in the same room, he said. So I remembered this story, and we all can remember this story, because Maharaj did not have that physical contest with him because of some egocentric battle. No. It was to keep the honor and the prestigious position of the 6 Goswamis. Because this man said, the 6 Goswamis on your altar are weak. And this didn't go down the throat of Maharaj because of his love for Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. How could anybody hear that Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, who lived under trees, wearing kopins, doing madhukari and writing more than 100,000 verses, chanting 100,000 names of Krishna every day, they are weak? And those who are into sense gratification, eating meat with male and female intermingling in the university campus, they are strong? Maharaj fought for the integrity and the honor and the prestigious position to uphold their position, the 6 Goswamis. So he defeated him and got him to the territory of Rupa Goswami and surrendered him at their lotus feet. You were weak and now you've become strong by surrendering to their lotus feet. So the point is, this we should always remember. Whenever the context of meat and vegetarian, we will become weak by eating vegetarian food. We will be strong by eating meat. This story must always be remembered. How we actually become stronger and healthier and we live longer with vegetarian food. Even from a scientific perspective, those who consume meat and red meat, you see they don't live long because their body doesn't function. Because you can analyze the acidic or the alkaline property of the saliva. You can analyze the structure of the human teeth. Whether it's like herbivores or whether it's like carnivores, you can see the teeth structure. Is our teeth more like the lions and the tiger, or is our teeth more like the herbivores? We can see for ourselves. The acidity of the saliva. You can also see the length of the small and the large intestine. What kind of food can each process? Is our intestinal structure more like the carnivores or more like the herbivores? Scientifically, all of this can be seen and studied. So an intelligent person can learn, even from the scientific study. So those who have vegetarian diet and in that Krishna conscious prasadam, they will live healthy.